what the Pentagon is doing to address this issue of drone sightings over New Jersey? It's near sensitive installations. The FBI is involved. What is the Pentagon doing?
Sure. So at this time, aware of those drone sightings that have been reported, at this time we have no evidence that these activities are coming from a foreign entity or the work of an adversary. We're going to continue to monitor what is happening, but at no point were our installations threatened when this activity was occurring.
Can you rule out that these are American drones or U.S. military drones?
These are not U.S. military drones. Again, this is being investigated by local law enforcement. What our initial assessment here is that these are not drones or activities coming from a foreign entity or adversary.
Representative Jeff Van Drew, who is a Republican from New Jersey, was just on the air saying that Iran launched a mothership probably about a month ago that contains these drones, and that mothership is off the coast of the east coast of the United States. Is there any truth to that?
There is not any truth to that. There is no Iranian ship off the coast of the United States, and there's no so-called mothership launching drones towards the United States.
Welcome to the new party. I'm NoraChristine.
I'm Gray Mars.
Vulgar Locker Room.
I'm Mia.
Hi, Mia. Welcome to the new party. Mia, thank you so much for joining us. Before we begin for our our first topic of the night, let everybody know where they can find you and what kind of content you do.
So I am a conservative content creator. You may find me on TikTok. That is the only social media I have at the moment. My name it's Mia, not Maya. And I've been on TikTok for quite a while and creating conservative content for quite a while as well.
Awesome. I'm so glad we found you, Mia. It's going to be a fun night. So our first topic of the night is about the drone sightings. So for weeks now, I've been hearing about these drone sightings in New Jersey. I thought it was science fiction. I thought it was conspiracy, as Gray likes to say. But it turns out, Gray, this conspiracy was actually true. And I don't know what's scarier, the fact that they're not acknowledging that they know what's going on, or the fact that they're acknowledging that they don't know what's going on. Gray, the Democrat on the line, the most anti-conspiracy person probably on the line, what do you think about these sightings?
I think it's just like, I don't know if y'all remember a while back, they had the balloon sightings where they said China was doing all of this stuff. I have heard about the drones. I'm going to listen to the Pentagon and accept that this isn't from a foreign entity. I mean, I know Iran supplied Russia with a lot of drones. So, I mean, for them to have that much of a constant supply to also have a quote-unquote mothership to send to the U.S., I don't know if the supply chain could support that. What about you, Mia?
Well, considering the Pentagon has failed 8 audits and lost hundreds of billions, multiple trillions of dollars, I don't think we should take anything they say. They can't do their jobs. They can't even balance their checkbook. So why should we believe them?
Vulgar?
Yeah, it's all weird. Like I said, what I feel weird is the size of them. They're saying they're the size of SUVs. Like, I've never seen a drone that big and say that they're in the sky. And how would they get over here? It's like a whole ocean to go across. So what I was telling Nora is, if that did happen, the only fuel I know that could power something like that is like a small reactor, which could make them dangerous.
Right. Nora?
Yeah, no, I'm in agreement. I have another clip on it. We can watch that and then we'll go into the other topics of the night. Let me play the other clip I have that shows what they look like.
to this point suggest that these drones are coming from offshore, that when we try to make contact with them, they become evasive and elusive. From my perspective, if they are American assets, if they're American military, if they're American drones, and I think we owe the American people answers or explanations, but if they're not American made, if they're not American drones, then I think, we owe the American people action. And if no one else is saying, I'll be the first one to say it, if these are not American assets, then we need to get our assets into the air and blow one of these things out of the sky, pick up the pieces and figure out what we're dealing with. Because quite frankly, we're the United States of America. I mean, I think we need to do a better job here.
So yeah, they did blow one out of the sky last night. They marked off the area, very secretive things. I don't know, is it an alien invasion? Is it Iran? Or is it China? Because I'm hearing that there was someone from China that was arrested. I think this is a distraction. I think they know what's going on, but they're distracting. I think they're setting up Donald Trump to look stupid. That's my opinion. Mia, what's your thoughts?
I definitely think absolutely it is a distraction from something that is happening. I'm sure the Congress is up to something because right now we're in what they like to call a lame duck session. We only have a matter of 4 weeks left, 5 weeks left at the tail end of this administration before a new administration takes hold. So I really think this is smoke and mirrors. I think those drones are probably ours. They're distracting us from whatever they're cooking up, however much money they're sending away or whatever they're doing overseas. But it's definitely a distraction for sure.
Fun fact, me and Nora's daughter share the same birthday, and our birthday is January 20th, and it's inauguration day. So my birthday is every single inauguration day. What I would say is, Nora, is there any evidence that this was shot down? I haven't seen that on social media. I haven't seen it on the news. Where was this shot down at? Do you have that footage?
Yes, I do.
I don't want to skip vulgar. I was just asking the question.
Mm-hmm.
But if there is some type of foreign entity and they did something like this, I'm sure whether it's Joe Biden or Trump, they're going to react with the full force of whatever they have at their arsenal. What about you, Volker?
I can't even comment.
For
sure.
I
just don't have the information for it. I don't know if it's a distraction or not.
Well, a lot of smoke and fire on the highway and out in the distance.
Volker, continue. I'm sorry. I just wanted to show that one.
No, you can go ahead.
Since you said they didn't shoot it down, Gray.
Okay. I mean, is this like a reputable source or is this just, X footage?
Oh my God, Gray. Gray, the same sources that been calling this out for weeks before mainstream media started talking about it. Okay. It's the same source as that because I've known about this for weeks. Mia, have you heard about this for weeks now?
To be honest, this is probably the 4th time I've heard about this. Like I've read a couple Reddit on it, but I haven't really heard too much about it. Which is kind of weird because I think I probably live closest to where this is happening. But I haven't heard too much about it.
Right. I haven't heard much about it either. But like I was saying, like the China balloon things, I don't know if this is some type of ploy to necessarily make Trump look bad. Joe Biden is still in office. So I don't know if it's going to be continuous after Biden is done, where it's just extra stuff to go at Trump. I have no idea. But go ahead.
I think we really need to ask ourselves the simple fact that our first reaction as a country should be to shoot them out of the sky, point blank, period. It doesn't matter who they are, if it's private, if it's ours, if it's whatever. The first thing we should have done is used hostile
force.
Yes, thank you. We should have used hostile force and shot them out. Because even if they're private, it's fine. We can pay whoever owns them for the damages. But at the end of the day, it is still an unknown craft of some sort hovering over private people's property. And these people obviously have not given permission for that. So we should have shot them down weeks ago when the first sightings were there. So that's pretty concerning to me that the government is allowing unknown objects to be floating around in the skies.
UFOs.
Regardless, I mean, UFOs, drones. But I mean, it is concerning. I mean, it is. I mean, we don't know, even if it is a private American, why are they hovering over their neighbors? What kind of intel are they trying to grasp? What are they looking at? What are they doing? These are questions we need to be asking, and the government should have shot them down.
I think Vulgar is right. I think the reason why they did not is because they have fears, like what Vulgar said, that there's nuclear reactive things that if they shoot it down, it could be like a hydrogen
Radiation,
bomb.
yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
right. You can't just shoot down something unless you know what's in it, I think, for the safety of it.
Yeah, for it to be, if they're that large, the size of SUVs, yeah.
Hmm.
Like just for them to be floating around, that some good technology right there.
Exactly. Well, moving on to the topic of the night. Um, someone knows me. Someone in the chat. I'll tell you about that later, Gray. Moving on to the topic of the chat, we are going to talk about Tommy Sotomayor tonight. Vulgar, I think he's part of the Manosphere. Is that fair? Who is he?
Yes.
Tell me.
Tommy Sotomayor, he was one of the first. He's one of the first people in the manosphere, or what you would call the black manosphere. And he's always been controversial, temper issue. He can never like be respectful. If you get on his bad side, he just goes in. He's always getting kicked off YouTube. I don't think he is on any platform right now. He's been kicked off of everything. So he goes on different platforms like Fresh and Fit and still just like crashes out.
Well, his latest show this week. Light-skinned women are more attractive than dark-skinned women. Prove me wrong. Vulgar, I think you have a very beautiful wife, and she's not light-skinned. Do you agree with this comment that he made? I think it's very offensive and wrong and rude, but I'll let you respond as the man on the call.
As I keep saying, there are opinions, there are preferences. Maybe that's his preference. So something like that I would never take serious, because some of us prefer light skin, some of us prefer dark. So I feel like he's, like I keep saying, the emotion, he's just trying to spark. He just trying to get clout and, yeah, get people to come to watch his stuff. That's all I feel like that is. And that's what he's good for. He's controversial. He's good for that.
Gray, what's your thoughts?
It depends on who you're talking to. I mean, me growing up, you gonna hear people always say red bone in a like better manner. I mean, like, but of course, you have dark skinned women that guys think are extremely attractive. Like, I think Gabrielle Union, like a lot of guys liked her. Like, I think it also depends on the demographic of guys, black men that you're talking about, and who they're gonna choose. Because there's some black guys that won't even date a black woman at all. They'll just go with a white chick or Spanish.
Yeah, the one on the one of our cast member. I don't know where he's at. He was supposed to come tonight. I wanted him to talk on this. Like, he
Did
got
you text
scared.
him?
Yeah, I'm like, where are you? Like, because we spoke earlier, and he says he was excited. I don't know. He must be taking another nap. But let me play this first clip. And I'm not being funny. He literally missed last night due to a nap. He's gonna talk about it and to say his position. I'm playing it now.
Light-skinned girls in general are more attractive than dark-skinned girls. Y'all can try to prove me wrong. But light-skinned girls in general are more attractive than dark-skinned girls. I'll explain. I put up a picture of all white girls and all black girls from the Jamaica running team. The black people came to me and they said, well, that's a problem. You put really pretty white girls and you didn't put really pretty black girls. We have plenty of pretty black girls. I said, okay, send me a picture. He sent me a picture of the United States track team. There was a problem. 2 of the chicks in the United States track team were biracial. One of them's in a relationship with a white man. I felt like the third one was the most attractive because I'm a black man that's attracted to black women. But I'm also not stupid. I also know that the fourth one, the one on the far right, looked like a nigga I used to change oil with. That nigga was hell getting the filter in and out. She does not look like a female. She looked like a dude, a fella. Like she's got a penis. Like you tell her to bend over, she be like, "No, you first." She look like she'll say, "Suck my dick," and mean it.
You're muted.
I can't take anymore. I'm so sorry. But this is the ignorant scum that this guy is. To me, this is disgusting. Who are the losers that watch this? Booker,
Yeah,
do you watch this guy? Please tell me you don't. Jesus.
I haven't watched this man since like 2017. He's been around that long, and it's just because he has no type of discipline, and he would just get the yelling, and it just got to be feminine to me. So I've canceled him a long time. When he first started, he made sense, and then just went off like he got some mental illness or something. So I'm not surprised.
Vulgar,
Someone
I
in the
feel,
chat wrote,
Vulgar, I
someone
feel
wrote,
like you. Go ahead.
would love to hear some call-ins from darker skinned women to settle the matter. Obviously, dark women look as attractive as lighter skinned women, obviously. But Gray and me produced the show. Gray, we reached out to lots of women, right? We couldn't get anyone, unfortunately, to come on that were darker skinned because we knew the controversy behind this. And then I said, I agreed we reach out. His response was because they don't feel like having to validate themselves. After the past 10 to 15 years, dark skinned women shut down the noise. But I think there is a renewed thing in this with everything going on Twitter space with what's that guy named Myron Gaines and the things he's saying. So I'm not making this a topic. This is what is the topic right now, unfortunately.
Right. And like we have somebody dark skinned girl coming onto the show that's a black Israelite. We just have to confirm. We go off of a schedule and we go off of what's trending. So it's kind of hard. Like we literally just added Mia to the show. It's her first time on the show. But we added her to the new party, but it's just what's trending. But Vulgar, what I feel as far as the manosphere, you being the manosphere guy, I feel like this is what the manosphere is all about, to say the most controversial topics that people talk about with your name in the locker room talk. And then, that's what they get to incite men and for men to follow them.
I think the toxic side of it is what gets in the press, like what people are gravitating to. Like I said, if you go to, I'll send you some links to some of the guys I listen to. They're older, they're not yelling, and they're not doing all this other stuff. They just speak the truth. Some of it is controversial, but it's not like disrespectful.
Well, let's get the light-skinned girl's opinion. Mia, you look light-skinned. What's your thoughts on this?
I mean, the simple fact is a lot of Black men do feel that lighter skinned women are more attractive because of the close proximity to whiteness and your more Eurocentric features, which comes from colonialism. It isn't anybody's particular fault. It's not our fault. We were literally dragged here from another continent and then forced through suppression to assimilate. And unfortunately, the colonizers were white, Eurocentric people. So that's what we value. And I feel like that's why over the last 50 to 60 years, there are a lot more biracial people in of all mixings, because everybody's trying to get more Eurocentric features into their gene pool and into their family.
I feel like some hood guys, some of them, they just go straight for hood chicks. And most of the times that they go be of a darker complexion. But there are some guys, and for lack of a better term, I feel like more proper white acting Black guys definitely shift towards a lighter demographic. And I mean, it's certain features that people may just like, but I don't know. I mean, I think it's toxic. The colorism is just toxic in the community in itself. And Nora, I'm pretty sure you've suffered from that.
Yes, I get it a lot. I get it on all ends. I get it from white people. I get it from black people. I get it from everywhere. So, hey, shouts out to me. I'm just like the chameleon in the group. And if I talk about it, I get told, don't complain about it. So who cares? But I'm going to play this clip because Mia, you touched on something about colonialism, and this has to do with what's called colorism. We're going to define what colorism tonight and transition over to a clip by Dr. Umar.
Experienced discrimination more times than any other minority group. In 1983, Alice Walker introduced the term colorism, which is prejudice or discrimination against individuals with a dark skin tone, typically among people of the same ethnic or racial group. Literature suggests this stems back to slavery, when slave masters awarded special privileges to African Americans of a lighter skin tone. Colorism isn't just a relic of history. It's a pervasive issue affecting people's lives today, from marriage to job prospects. Research shows that dark-skinned women face lower marriage rates, while wage gaps also exist between lighter and darker-skinned men. Shockingly, skin tone even influences prison sentences, with darker-skinned women receiving harsher punishments. Discrimination starts young. Dark-skinned girls are 3 times more likely to be suspended from school compared to lighter-skinned peers. And it doesn't stop there. Colorism can even warp how we're remembered. For example, job interviewers are more likely to recall educated black individuals as having lighter skin, regardless of their actual complexion. This ongoing issue takes a toll. Darker-skinned individuals experience more microaggressions, impacting their mental well-being. But what's more surprising is how colorism is not just an external problem, it's internalized within the community, affecting how we perceive and treat each other. Understanding colorism requires examining how we see ourselves, a perspective that varies across communities. According to sociologist Margaret Hunter, even the self-perception of skin tone can be a complex issue, relative to one's social context. So, as we grapple with colorism's implications, we must also confront the underlying biases, both external and internal, that fuel this troubling phenomenon. Colorism is a double-edged sword that cuts both ways. It's perpetuated by broader societal structures and also exists within the Black community.
So yeah, that's what colorism is. I wanted to set the foundation. Gray, what's your thoughts on colorism? I know we talked about it on a personal note, that things you've seen in your own family, even with your children. What's your thoughts?
I mean, my mom is dark skinned. My ex-wife, my baby mom is half black, half white, and my children are pretty fair skinned. I would say I don't feel like they've dealt with, something directly where it was like colorism, because we live in Florida and, it's such a Hispanic culture down here. People, they deal with people thinking that they're Hispanic. But I'm not sure. I mean, like, I could say that the superficial, no, I haven't experienced colorism in my life. But am I going to tell the truth? Like, when it was time to like get in a fight or something, if somebody was dark skinned and ugly, was I a little bit more like, oh, I might get beat up right now. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just the realness of it. It comes off a little bit more intimidating. I don't know if that's natural instinct, or I don't know if that's been ingrained in us. I can't give you an answer on that. What about you, Mia?
I would definitely say that colorism, first and foremost, is absolutely alive and well in America, and I would say, definitely a deep-seated issue in the Black community, but also in other BIPOC communities as well. I will say I personally have absolutely benefited from colorism because we have to call a spade, and I have to hold myself accountable. I have absolutely benefited from colorism. So I am a product of a biracial relationship. So my mother is white and my father is Black. My dad, as people would say, is blacker than the ace of spades. So he is very dark. But my mom is half Greek and half Scottish. So she's actually pretty fair skinned with curly hair. So I'm on the lighter end of that. And I know that has helped me gain access into spaces that I know I probably would not have been accepted. And I understand having lighter skin almost makes me more palatable for moving into certain spaces when I am in certain spaces with white people. For absolutely, I know I am a positive recipient of colorism, but the double-edged sword to that is that I am never Black enough for the Black community unless they want my vote. So it's kind of, I don't really fit in anywhere because I'm too Black for white people, but I'm not Black enough for Black people. So I'm kind of marooned on an island by myself with all of the other biracial people.
Vulgar.
I will say, anytime we used to joke and play with the light skinned men, dark skinned men, I was always putting the light skin. But I'm gonna be a little controversial here. So, because we say it's a problem, colorism, and besides Tommy being disrespectful, which we all agree he was, to me it's almost the equivalent of when women say they don't want a brokey. So, like, the preference of light skin, dark skin, if that is true, a lot of men feel offended when you have women say they don't want a brokey. Like, the man got to have money, or he got to be a finished product. If you don't make this amount of money, if you're not going to pay for this, not pay for that. I kind of feel like it's, like, if we're looking on both sides, it's kind of equal. And I will say that the African American community is not the only community that deals with this. In Mexico is like that. Lighter skinned Mexicans get treated better. So it's kind of a thing that exists in most places, probably.
Yeah, absolutely. I have a lot of, because I work in the healthcare system, and I have a lot of friends that are of Asian descent, but they're what you would call, it's going to be controversial when I say this, but dirty Asian. So you're thinking like darker, like Filipino versus Japanese, who are incredibly light skinned. And they also deal with a ton of colorism within their communities, especially if you look at Asians from, like, when I say Indian, I mean from India, and they deal with the same thing. They are constantly trying to, I guess, breed themselves lighter because naturally that entire part of the world are actually very dark, like extremely complexion wise. They have a lot of melanin. They're very dark in that center of the
Serena
planet.
Williams in this?
Nora?
Can we bring Serena Williams into
Well,
this?
Oh,
yeah, for me, it's the exact opposite. I'm glad to hear that you benefited from it, but I grew up in the hood and around primarily Black people, Hispanic people, people of color. Wasn't many whites around, and for me, it was the opposite. I experienced extreme color, the opposite side of colorism. I'm going to play the clip by Dr. Umar, and he breaks it down. And I agree wholeheartedly with what Dr. Umar is going to say in the clip. There's two sides to it. There's the extreme side where I've seen dark-skinned women be treated very terribly, and I will acknowledge that. And then the extreme side, when you're extremely light, you get treated on the other side of it. And for me, I personally have always been told, like, I can relate with Mia, that you're not, white people say, well, I know you're not white. Like, what are you? And Black people say, oh, you're not Black. And I've experienced that my whole life. And I grew up with a Black, well, for me, she's Black, a Jamaican mother with African descent. So I have seen both sides of it. And I'm going to play this clip from Dr. Umar where he breaks it down and he talks about the both sides of the coin.
You don't hear this conversation.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
So
yes,
now, what
sir.
do you mean by that?
Black men are extremely biased against dark-skinned Black women. I've been in rooms. I've been in events, and this is a global phenomenon too. It's not limited here. It's a Pan-African issue. I've been in spaces, right, where there might be 3 or 4 sisters over there. They are all attractive, but the dark sister, in some cases, stunningly beautiful. Stunningly beautiful. And the brother would always go to one of the lighter ones just because she was light. I've seen this repeatedly and consistently. I hear young men say they only date light skin. Look at the gangster rap community. Many of our prominent gangster rappers have at least one song where they either condemn dark-skinned women or promote light-skinned women. Jay-Z, he has a song earlier years where he says he only dates the wavy light skin.
Yeah.
Him being with Beyonce is not an accident. He probably would never consider a dark-skinned woman. I'm not trying to say Mr. Carter is a light-skinned supremacist, but going off of his lyrics, he may definitely qualify for one. Our dark-skinned sisters who are just as beautiful as our browns and our yellows are being overlooked by black men because they don't have a complexion that approximates the slave master.
That's, and we never really talk about,
and it has permeated the black consciousness community. I'm going to put my black conscious people on blast too. And by black consciousness, I'm loosely referring to all the brothers who claim to be woke in some way or another, including scholars, elders, and youth. If you go through the conscious community, 99% of all the conscious talking heads have women who can pass a brown paper bag test. You're not going to tell me it's a pure coincidence that most of our black scholars, most of our young conscious brothers in the YouTubian world, you can't tell me it's purely coincidence that 99% of them have women who can pass the brown paper bag.
Gray, what's your thoughts?
I feel like we have to talk about actual stereotypes. I know we're kind of like skipping around it. We don't got Slim here to disparage remarks about stuff. So basically, dark-skinned women are associated with hood activity, being loud, all types of behavior that your typical man doesn't want. Those are the stereotypes that are put on black women. And that's what black guys say that they don't want to deal with, especially when they're talking about white women and lighter skinned women. I mean, for me personally, I grew up dating all types. And then when I met somebody and she was like, oh, you're attractive, but you need to like sell some whatever. So it's certain stereotypes that's tied to certain groups. That's what I would say.
Oh man, the chat's coming for you, Gray.
I didn't say that's how I felt. I said that's what people say. I mean,
somebody wants to come on.
Yeah, he trying to come. I want to say, like I said, I keep bringing it back because somebody in the chat said what I said last time. What does it have to do with colorism as far as a man's situation? The thing is, you don't hear this on the men's side. You don't hear this light skin, dark skin situation when it comes to men.
Right.
So that's why. And then Dr. Umar said
yes,
something.
Yes, you do.
I mean, they'll say light skin's in right now or dark skin's in right now, but we don't take it. We don't really trip off of it. It's more the women who get offended and trip off of it. But he had said something about there's rap songs, and I take Dr. Umar with a grain of salt. He's a grifter to me too. He said something about like in rap songs they disrespect dark-skinned women, but what about the Destiny's Child, the Scrubs, and all that? It's on both sides. It's just, to me, it's a preference thing. A lot of men they don't want. It's not all. Like I said, my wife is dark, so
right.
It's not all, but that could be a preference in women. Yeah.
Give Vulgar a pass. His wife is dark skinned, so he's not saying it in a hateful way. He's just saying his experience and things he's seen, because they was going in on you comparing the whole broke thing to dark women.
Yeah. So that's all. I'm just trying to take up for them. I'm trying to play devil's advocate. That's what I'm doing. What I'm saying it exists on both sides, and I think it's something where I'm almost like you just got to be confident in yourself. As a dark skin, you just got to be confident and move accordingly. Light skinned women, whatever. Even with the guys, you just have to be confident. I think we put too much time into these type of situations, and somebody like Umar is just making money off of it.
Mia, what were you gonna say?
I was gonna say it is interesting. Sorry, for like the correlation potentially between men being brokies and like obviously colorism when it comes to women. And like the thing is about finances is you can always change your finances. You can't. I suppose you could do skin bleaching, but that's set aside. You can't really change your color. I mean, you are who you are, and you're kind of just like rolling with it. At least like men that are broke can elevate their financial status through hard work and determination. But I mean, if you're a dark-skinned woman, I mean, you gotta roll with that. There's no, you know,
But
you're
that's what I'm
dark, you're
saying.
dark. If you're light,
You
you're
just have
light.
to, yeah, you just have to be secure within it, and just
But
understand that men are gonna feel. We can't change how men think or what their preference is. This is just gonna be a thing. We're trying to force men into something that they don't want. It is what it is. Just like a lot of women don't want to. They want a guy that makes now it's 10 million, but it's just how it is. You can't change somebody, force somebody preference. I don't think you have to be disrespectful like Tommy was about it. But I think that's what I'm trying to say. You can't force somebody to or dark skin if they don't like dark skin. That's just like people in California. If you in LA, you tend to date light skin. If you're in
I
different parts
feel
of the
like
country, Atlanta, you going more for the backside, and it don't matter the skin color as long as you got the backside.
men get attacked more. Nobody talks about the fact that light skinned guys, if they like black girls, dark skinned girls, they normally go for the darkest girl. Obama chick is dark. Like when you see like a light skinned guy like dark girls, they normally go for the dark girls. But nobody says anything about that. Nobody complains about that. Nobody says, "Oh, Candace Owens' husband is white." But if a black dude go get a white girl, then it's a massive problem. So
Hmm.
like, why can the women date whoever they want? Meghan Markle gets a slap on the back, a high five, girl, do your thing. But if a black dude do that, he's the scum of the earth.
You know why? I want to jump in.
Yeah.
Men don't care. Women do. Women have to. My grandfather told me if you with the woman and there's like a long peacetime, he's like, you better create a situation. You better create a conflict in there somewhere. I'm
I'm gonna
invested.
tell you
And
why
that's what it
women
is.
care. When I went on my cruise recently, every black man I saw was with a white woman. Every single one. Every single one. And I'm gonna leave it at that. I'm gonna land the plane there. That's why they care. And men say, oh, we talked about this vulgar, the stereotype about black women. Oh, this, oh, that. But then when I hear there's talk about their trauma stories with the white women that they hooked up with, it's the same things. So I'm like, you going through the same thing. And I'm not saying you should be, prejudiced and not date, like only date within your race. But there are brothers that say, I don't date black women, period. And to me, that's, I don't know. I
You know what?
can't get behind that. That's self-hatred.
A lot of that, 'cause they had a black mother who the father wasn't around, and they just disrespected the son, and the son just rebelled against any black woman. I've had this in my family and seen it. Yeah.
Well,
And
I
their
mean,
cousins, they would not date a black woman because their mother was so mean to them.
I mean, that's absolutely possible for sure. I mean, statistics tell us that Black women almost exclusively date Black men and get married to Black men, overwhelmingly. Like the majority of Black women prefer their partner to be of the same race as them. So when Black men become passport bros or they exclusively date lighter skinned women or white women or date outside their race, it puts black women in a really crappy spot because they almost exclusively want to be married within their race, but they're realizing they have no partners, which creates discontent, judgment, and also feeds into the colorism now because this darker skinned woman is realizing she's losing out on mate potential to the white women, the Latino women, but also the women like me who are lighter skinned. So it is creating this massive division within our own culture. So it is, that's why women care so much, specifically Black women, because they're seeing their eligible bachelors dwindle. But then we also have to talk about the pool of eligible men. So when it comes to Black men, they're at a massive disadvantage in the United States because overwhelmingly a higher percentage of them are incarcerated. They could potentially have felonies. when it comes to graduation rates, whether it be high school or college, they're lagging behind Black women exponentially. We are outpacing them in college degrees, certifications, graduation, and pay. So that also puts the pool of eligible bachelors even thinner. So now instead of having 10 men, now you're really down to 4 who match you in education and financials, and then 3 of them are only exclusively looking for lighter skinned women or women outside their own race. So that leaves 1, and then you have 10 Black women fighting over that 1 Black man. So it's just like a really crappy situation for Black women to be in. And I think that's why they talk about it so much, is because it impacts them. Because at the end of the day, a lot of people do want to have a family, but it really sucks if you don't have any mate availability. And I think that's why we hear Black women talk disparagingly about Black men seeking mates outside of their race.
I want to say something. And I agree with Vel in the comments. Black men overall do want Black women. And a lot of Black women are escaping accountability. Nora and I had this conversation. Only 6 to 10% of Black men are incarcerated. But then you have Black women are really being rebellious. If you have like Sexy Red, Lotto, a lot of these rappers in their lyrics, and the collective of the Black woman, I feel like they're separated. They want to be their own race. So even if the individual woman may not like that to the man up front, but it's a collective mentality to where a lot of Black women are unbearable. You have to have a Black woman who has denounced feminism, who has denounced the sisterhood, and who wants to be under the provision and protection of a Black man. A lot of Black women are with the college. When they say it, it's like a competition. We got the degrees. We own homes. We own more homes than Black men. We own this. We got this more than Black men. That is a competition, divisive mindset to have, instead of getting with a Black man and working, because I don't have a college background, but I can build a car from the ground up and money doing that. So
I don't care about college degrees. My boyfriend doesn't have a college degree, and I'm okay with that. So that's not why I made that comment. I made that comment because you were putting Black women down, and I was defending them. And I said that Black women are the most educated, because the last topic we had was about the things that Myron Gaines said. And so I was closing out, and I was saying Black women are the most educated and the most startup businesses are Black women. And your response to that was they're also the most evicted.
And the reason why I said that is because they're not trying to get with Black men to buffer the bills, a buffer. They're trying to do it on their own, and it's hard. That's why I said that. It's not talking every time I say so doesn't mean that I'm dogging out women. I'm speaking the truth. If you look it up, Black women are the most evicted, and it's because they're not working with the Black men.
Well, we have to ask ourselves why Black women aren't working with Black men, and like the catalyst to that.
I just told you. Sexy Red and have you listened to like Lotto? It's a song that she had. It's popular, and all it talks about is I don't listen to a man for shit. Yeah, I forgot what the lyrics was, but these are the lyrics now. What's the other one that was? She got the annoying voice, sound like Huey O'Reilly from Boondocks. Cardi B. She's the same way. A lot of the women who are in Hollywood, look at the Jennifer Lewis. A lot of these women with the election, instead of being like, okay, why are Black men going conservative? Is there a reason for it? Instead, they're like, no, you're hurting us. You're going against us, instead of listening. And that, as men, we have an innate, it's inside of us to be leaders. So when y'all come together as a collective and attack us for voting differently, that is that rebellion. Y'all are very combative. I know y'all hate to hear it, but that's a lot of what's going on, and nobody wants to address that.
Well, I think I agree with what you're saying, mostly to an extent. I will say, I mean, the reason that there's so much division within our community as a whole is because that's by design from the United States government. Back LBJ did that in the 60s. So, I mean, some of it isn't even when I say it's not our fault, I'm not saying we're not complicit. I'm saying between the media, the news, the government. They have literally done everything to break our community in half.
And the black women are eating it up. I told my wife the other day, I was like, a woman will say real quick, I'm about to get this new job, and I got to go to orientation and get training.
Mm-hmm. Of course.
But if a man say, hey, let me train you, they get offended. If
you know, I mean,
help me and come into the relationship, and we need to show you what to do as far as to make the household work, that's offensive. But you'll go to a corporation and give them all your energy.
Well, I mean, it's about perspective. I mean, like the statistical fact is Black children are born to single parent households more than we ever have compared to even 60 years ago. So to say that men, like Black men, are inherent leaders, who are you learning to lead from? Because your daddy's not there. So is it your mom? I mean, I'm not saying it to be mean or to be rude, but statistics tell us who are you learning to lead from? Because statistic tells me your father didn't sign your birth certificate, so your mother was your head of household. So it seems like we're in this like weird situation where we have a group of men that want to lead, that have the capacity to, but they've never had a strong male leader in their lives to teach them the ways to lead. But they also have all of these independent women that they have because, you know, they are also from the same single mother households where they had to watch their mother be the leader in that as well. So what would be your advice? And this is just me curious. So what would you say to Black men in order to get them into that leadership role as like a whole?
I think it's happening now. But like with the manosphere, like I said, y'all focus on the toxic parts of it, but there are very great content creators that shows about stoicism, being a man, and we don't focus on them. There's a Bedros Killian. That's all he talks about. If you look him up, he talks about men going through the tough things and, you know, struggling a little bit to get better, and, you know, just being that man in life is not easy because the fathers are gone. So I think a lot of these content creators are the ones that stepping in. To me, water seeks level. And I challenge y'all to go look. I'm gonna send some links, but I challenge y'all to go look up some of the healthy content.
Yeah, I would like you to send it. I'm implored to go research it now and go see. And if I find one bad thing, I'm calling it out because I'm going to tell you. I already
It's
know
gonna
about
sound
the
bad.
manosphere.
It's just like you know how it used to be in the household. The mother would raise a child, and then around 12 or 13, the father would come get that child, especially if it was a son, and he would raise them because some of the things would seem offensive.
For sure.
So some things are going to seem offensive to you.
Okay.
Go ahead. It's just the reality. Go ahead.
The reality. Yeah, it's the reality. There's no accountability for men anymore. It's all the women. But I'm gonna switch gears.
I keep saying, no, we are accountable. We are always accountable.
Okay. I'm gonna switch gears here. We're gonna switch over. Chat's gonna love this. We're gonna switch over to the FBA versus ADOS.
Yes, let's go.
Mia, have you ever heard of this term? Do you know what it is?
Oh, so I'm really showing the area that I'm from and the community that I grew up in, because when you sent me these topics, I had to Google it. I was like, okay, I'm not around enough Black people to know what any of this stuff is. So I had to Google it. And that's what I've been doing the last couple of days, is doing research. I even have my notes. I had to write it all down to make sure I wasn't wrong. It felt like a college class.
So let's watch this first clip by Dr. Umar where he breaks it down. One of the shorter clips I have.
Just like American descendants of slaves speaks to those of us who are the descendants of those who were enslaved in this land. They do not seek affiliation necessarily with immigrants.
Oh, they don't seek
first generation.
That's ADOS. That's ADOS? Yeah.
ADOS,
some
FBA,
form,
they're largely the same.
Oh, okay.
In terms of vision, two different organizations. But the
vision is the premise.
The philosophy and the premise is largely
so why I can't get with a white girl that
Foundational Black American, just like American descent.
So pretty much there's these two groups where one side calls themselves FBA, Foundationally Black American, and the other side calls themselves American Descendants of Slaves. And they're both organizations raising money with the same end goal to get reparations, which I understand, I totally get. Gray, what's your thoughts? Which group do you identify yourselves as if you do anything?
I mean, I'm a history buff. I mean, I would guess the term would mean that I'm a foundational Black American, but I look at African diaspora, so I just lump us all in the same category. I think us and Jews are the only people that really went through a massive diaspora. So, I mean, now we have technology with ancestry and stuff like that. So we're very keen on where we came from. So I think it should be more we come as a group rather than separate. What about you, Mia?
So after doing the research, I kind of prefer the American Descendants of Slavery. So ADOS seems to be more to my liking because I'm conservative leaning, and they seem to be more of a conservative group, and they have a pretty hard line when it comes to being Black people first, Black people only. And that kind of, I don't know, kind of sings to me. The FBA, when I looked into it, I'm not a huge fan of reparations. I don't think that should even be a premise. Reparations are extremely difficult to do, and I'm just not a fan of the whole reparations.
Vulgar?
Yeah, I agree. Right, I feel like anything given by the government comes with a catch, so I don't want it. I try to identify as American first. I can't do any other groups. Now I'll study them and do some of the. I think okay, we American first, but then like maybe we separate a little bit, discuss Black issues or stuff like that, and then maybe come back out ready to do business. But I feel like a lot of these groups they're very divisive, and it just creates a huge conflict. And we're all in this country together, so why just be separate? People just like drama. That's what I'm seeing. People just like drama and need a reason to complain about something.
Mm-hmm.
Nora is extremely upset about this stuff because her parents immigrated to the U.S. So, Nora, what is your feelings about this? And people say you're a tetherer and not Black.
Well, this guy's arguing with me in the chat because you guys can go on our last video and I'm going to link it. We talked about, it. And I was told if you're Jamaican, you're not considered Black. Even if you're actually, if you're of anything outside of being foundationally Black in this country, you are not defined as Black. First time I've ever heard this. If you look at the census, Black is anybody of African descent, or not of African descent, but that is African descent. But they're redefining what the term Black is in this country. Now, do I agree that I'm not the same as a foundationally Black person, or my on my mother's side, they're not the same? Yes, I agree. But then to be told, like I told on the last story, that my grandfather, who was spat in the face by a KKK member and was called the N-word because he's a Black man, that he's not Black, is offensive. That for me. But I get it. When I talked about it today with D White, he broke it down to me, and I get it. I get the grip they're doing. If we can take these people out of the 13 to 15% that are Black in this country, we have a better fight for reparations. That's what they're doing. I get it. You see the breakdown of it. It's all about money, and I get it. You guys want your reparations. I totally get it. For me personally, I support reparations. So before the chat comes for me, I support reparations, and I'm going to tell you why I do. I do because every other group that this country has wronged has gotten it. The Japanese from the 1940s internment camps, the Jewish people from the Holocaust, the Native Americans from coming here. So why should foundational Black people not get it? I think they deserve it. I think we should cut the check so we can move on and stop saying that we have, these systemic things in place. Maybe we can move on. But I'm going to tell you, the next group is going to come.
You forgot to say 40 acres and a mule, too.
Oh, excuse me, 40 acres and a mule. Give it to them. But last thing, Boger, you're going to like this. But The next grift will come in once that check is given. You know what they're going to say in the next grift? Oh, we don't have generational wealth, so that's why we're oppressed still. It's a
They spent it
mindset.
all.
It's a mentality. But Vulgar, you get, maybe you can break
Yeah,
it down
no,
better. It's a mindset. It's to keep us controlled and in chains.
we're not. Do you remember Dave Chappelle when he had the
Yeah, I noticed.
reparation
I
skit?
was thinking of the skit too, when they like
Yeah,
have all the rims and like
bought
why
all
they
the
spend the money.
Cadillacs. And old boy
Yeah.
bought the cigarette truck. That's what it'll be like. Like we're not prepared to receive something like that. Like
And
we
that
can't
is
even
like,
look at the stimulus. We blame these corporations, but look at the stimulus checks. When people got the stimulus checks, so I'm in I do a lot of music stuff, right? So I didn't get the stimulus checks, but I was ordering music equipment at this time, this is true. I could not get a certain microphone because they were all sold out.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, in
oh
2020.
wow.
Yeah, there was a certain microphone I was getting because I was working with an artist, and yeah, it was sold out. Like a lot of music equipment was sold. So many people bought music equipment with those stimulus checks.
Oh, you said around the PPP loan and all that people were going to go. So you feel like most black people want to be entertainers, whether it's music, and sports,
Yep.
and YouTube. Okay. Well, I guess I fall in that category. I'm right here on YouTube. I mean, all four of us. Right?
All of us. Yeah, all of us.
And according to their definition, Marcus Garvey would not be black. And that's why I'm against the whole movements, because for me, you are dividing black people even more in this country when we are very divided as it is. And I'm for unity. For me personally, I'm for unity. And I've been told by Foundation Black people, well, why should we be united? Because immigrants come here and they get special treatment. Another chain on your brain to make you feel like you are less than. For me, that's my definition.
Well, the FBI kept talking about, because I watched the videos, they're on their YouTube or whatnot, and they kept talking about the reparations and how the Native Americans do it, and it's like Native Americans here in America do blood quantum. So then now we have a whole host of blood quantums. Now we have to register. Now we all need blood tests. So how black do you have to be? How much foundational blood do you have to have in order to qualify? And then that is a whole host of other issues. And then you have to look at the fact that the families that benefit from the casinos is a very small amount. Has anybody ever been on a reservation, seen the statistics that come out of Native American on these Indian reservations? They're poor, they're sick, they're ill, they have the worst part of their native land they were given, the absolute worst part. I mean, they have it bad. I don't think any reparation system, I think we're better off without the reparations. If anything, the only reparations we should get should be free college for all African Americans. And then leave it at that. Education is elevation, and we can get ourselves by our bootstraps through education and get better jobs and gain wealth that way. I just don't think we need to start getting into blood quantum and how black you have to be and all of these stipulations. And then next thing you know, they're going to sequester us in certain areas of the country because you get your 40 acres and a mule, but I'm going to give this to you in Nebraska. Okay, well, what the hell's in Nebraska? Like, what are you going to do with a bunch of black people in Nebraska? I mean, just giving the country that much control is never a good thing. Nobody ever benefits from that. And then to give somebody who has no background with ever having to deal with any like financial windfall or anything like that is really difficult. We are going to spend it on superficial things. It's not like we're not going to do it. It's difficult without proper education and teaching. But of course, they're going to give you all of these things, but they're not going to teach you how to use it.
Well, that's for them to decide. For me personally, like, I think that's Mia, no offense, I'm gonna be real with you. I think that's offensive to say, listen, it's a debt that's owed. Okay, 40 acres and a mule was promised to these people. For what I don't know the history. Gray, do you know the history why Foundation Black people didn't get their 40 acres and a mule?
I think Mia mad she's not gonna get her full check. I'm just
No, it's
joking.
okay. It's okay. I mean, I'm doing all right without it. I'm doing all right without
I'm
it.
just
I mean,
joking.
blood quantum would tell me I only get 50%.
I'll say
It's
something.
okay.
Maybe less than that because your father might be mixed. You don't know.
Can I say
I
something
mean, if he's
real quick?
Let me
yeah.
answer a question, then go ahead.
Okay, go ahead.
I think it's because Abraham Lincoln got assassinated, right? Nora?
I don't know. I want to know.
Can
David, you
you
know a
fact
lot of
check?
history.
Go
David,
ahead,
tell me
Vogel.
why, because he knows a lot. Keep going.
Vogel, go ahead while she finds it.
Okay. I was just gonna say I think
That's why it wasn't
instead of going
ratified.
after we're focused on the wrong things, like going after reparations and what's supposed to be owed to us instead of getting like major corporations and building to bring wealth within the community. So here in Kansas City, there is a black area called 18 Divine, and it was part of the Chitlin Circuit. And when black people couldn't tour in the white venues, it's never funded properly, and the area could be so much better than what it is. But we have this stigma that money is evil, being rich is bad. If we go about the money instead of preserving black culture, that we're wrong for it. And I think that area, I wish, because this is one of my goals in the next 10 or 20 years, when I finally get my check, get my bag. I just
All
want to put
100%.
I just want to put a 10-story glass building there and try to get the white people to bring their corporations there, and we get the money off the property, make them pay us rent like that. And I think that's where we go wrong. We're in America, that's a capitalist society, and we're not playing the game. Like, we got to get on board and play the game. When in Rome,
I saw someone attack us in the chat, said we're not educated enough to have the discussion. At least we're having this discussion. Who else is talking about this?
But that's
Like,
what they're gonna do.
If you feel like you're doing better than us, but yeah, we're having this discussion. But go ahead.
Keyboard warriors.
Well, like, what's their purview? What would qualify us to not be? I mean,
I don't know.
It goes
right?
back to colorism, Mia, because you're mixed and I'm not considered black. And to me, it's a new form of colorism. It's a new form of division in America. We had the field Negroes and the house Negroes in the 1800s, and now we're doing this. So this is another way to divide black people. But anyways, it says the reason why is because President Andrew Jackson reversed General Sherman's Field Order 15, which had promised this land distribution to formerly enslaved people, effectively returning the land to the Confederate land orders instead of allowing free slaves to keep it. Okay, so it was promised, it wasn't done. That's why I think it's owed. And for me, that's my position. But I respect what y'all are saying because it is mental chains.
Yeah, for sure. You got another clip, Dora?
Yeah, I have more, a couple more. Okay, so this next clip, this talks about, again, like I tell you guys, this is a grift. I'm gonna have someone talk about the critiques of it.
Of the movements, of those movements, particularly ADOS, because that seemed to be where you were focused on. And what do you see as a viable alternative?
Tone and the broader ADOS movement was that it became clear that, for instance, on issues of how we understand the role Black people play in the economy, the role immigration plays in the economy, the role Pan-Africanism has played to Black liberation, it became clear that there was a divergence. And instead of just engaging in a principled way, I think she and some of around her descended into some inappropriate behavior very publicly. I will not claim to have been the best in behavior myself, but my initial attempt was to say, let's engage, let's have a principled discussion, even debate. And all that came back was a lot of either hostility or really, I thought, dangerous reframing and rebranding of these historical movements and what people's arguments have been. So longer story short, my ultimate problem with ADOS and FBA do is that they isolate. I think they take a very ultimately white supremacist, conservative, capitalist approach to the very real problem that they do identify, that is targeting Black America. I do agree that Black America, and this is in fact the nature of my argument in this book, is that Black America does have a very particular history and relationship to this society and its economy that does need to be addressed and repaired. But the strategy to get there, I think, should involve the Black radical tradition. Yes.
Help me understand this with some analytical clarity, or specificity. What specifically are they arguing that you disagree with? If the fundamental argument is for them that there is a unique and specific justice claim that American descendants of slavery have by virtue of being descendants of an American slavery project that produced the American empire, that produced all this wealth, that produced and grew American capitalism on the backs of exploited enslaved Africans. If that's the argument, right? I don't think you disagree with that argument per se. I can't imagine you do. So, and I don't want to. That's why I don't want later on for there to be straw men. What is the actual intellectual disagreement or critique you have of them? Because I think I have a sense of disagreement around Pan-Africanism, but I want to understand yours.
And actually, this has been an issue that I and others have had with even some elements of the reparations movement before the rise of ADOS and FBA, is that it is a narrowing and almost an isolationist effort within the United States to have the United States, as you put it, which, as you accurately put it, created all of these problems. It is said we will wed ourselves in isolation to that entity for redress. And it rejects, and sometimes with great levels of hostility, all the preceding efforts to internationalize the struggle, to bring impact from outside the United States onto the United States government, to strengthen the Black American political project and aspirations, and then to rebrand themselves as the logical extension and the improvement of those Black radical histories and traditions, without acknowledging why some of them have either been stalled or failed, which is because they were targeted by the state, the most powerful and suppressive entity,
So someone in the chat wrote, ADOS is the LGBT political organization with members, foundational Black Americans as a lineage. Jay, thank you for your engagement, but they both have websites where they're asking for, guess what? What do you think they're asking for on their website?
Money. Offering.
Wait, can you say it again?
Offering.
So I can Pat, say it again, Vulgar.
Yeah, they pass around a church plate. Yep.
I'm gonna share it to you so you guys can see. This is FBA's website. Guess who's attached to it? Gray, you know.
Steve Bannon.
Well, that's what you say, but Tariq Nasheed. And supposedly they're, and I will say this to be fair to Gray, they are allegedly being funded by right wing. He says Steve Bannon. I couldn't find that in my research, but that's the argument against it. So again, what does this say on here, Vulgar? Buy now.
Yeah.
You can buy. You guys can spend your money with them.
I'm not against any nonprofit asking for money, but I feel like the fact that they are being funded by right-wing people kind of seems like they're trying to cause a division. And to the people in the chat, like, I'm a Democrat. I voted for Kamala. You're calling us whatever. The other people voted for Trump, but we're having a super discussion right here. And I feel like that we have bigger fish to fry in the sense of with these young kids, with Dracos, switches, spinning the bin, mass incarceration. And I want to plug Vogel's show. Vogel just got a Monday show, and we'll be talking to someone that's dealing with mass incarceration. Like, my cousin got life for deleting somebody. And Mia was saying earlier, like, who do the guys look up to when there's just a moment house? They look up to the guys in the street. They look up to the guy pulling up with the foreign whip, with the chains on, with the money, who all the girls want. That's who they look up to. I myself am guilty of it, and we're the people. Those are the people that we like. Oh, would be like him because it ain't a daddy in the house. For sure.
I'm gonna say with both of these movements, when they're asking for money, and what I don't like and why I feel like it's a grift is because if somebody like Tyreek is successful, right, wealthy, and instead of teaching us how to fish, he's trying to give us a fish, right? He's not. He could show us how you got wealthy instead of complaining about that we deserve some type of reparations of money. The fact that you're successful means that we could do it too. And that's why I feel like it's a grift, because they're getting rich off of, they don't want to show the people at the bottom how to come up. And I feel like that's what a lot of these groups do. Even somebody like Dr. Umar, they're grifting because they're not empowering black men. They're just creating these situations to keep us hamster wheel.
What about you, Mia?
I agree. I think that it's all just one large scheme and one large money grab. I mean, there's a difference between a hand up and a hand out. And when people talk about reparations or anything like that, it seems to be a hand out and not a hand up, or nothing that, I mean, if you give somebody one fish, you feed them for one day. But if you teach them how to fish, they'll eat for a lifetime. And none of these groups are really putting forth any framework to teach us how to fish so we can pass that on to the next generation for their wealth accumulation.
True.
Yep.
Nora?
The biggest thing for me is it's very divisive. They have these terms and these phrases, kind of like with the whole, the transgender movement in our country, very similar to that. You're redefining what a woman is. They got this tether term. I'm going to play this clip. I'm sure the chat is going to love this clip. And this is where they call immigrants, or I guess, is it a behavior grade? Can you explain it? I mean, I don't fully understand it.
Play it.
Yeah, I'm going to play where they talk about tethers, and this will be our last clip of the night.
Undermining those of us that are from the slave. The key word is undermining. Why do y'all keep on ignoring that?
But Malcolm X, his lineage, his mother was from Grenada, right?
You just ignored the question I asked you.
I'm just saying, like, before we even go off in the weeds.
No, we're talking about the definition of the words you got a problem with, which is tether, right?
I think Tariq just fooling y'all, because if we
Malcolm X
he's
was
definitely
a pimp,
fooling
right?
them.
We could go all into the past of what.
No, that's what we're talking about. You going into Tariq past?
Yeah, and we pay taxes too, and we're helping to build your country. So you're welcome.
We're not going into Luke past. We're going into Luke's present. This is what he did presently.
I just heard you say it, like you was talking about why you want to disrespect our sisters, calling
that's not the past.
Riches and hoes, but that's what the music.
That's the present.
He don't do present. No, he don't cut records anymore. What are you talking about?
He just literally was on live saying that these females, Glorilla and such owes him a check and owes him thanks because he taught them how to pop they pee and doo-doo brown and how to twerk and all of that. He said that presently.
It doesn't fail, Gray. I'm for reparations. I'm still a tetherer. Can you make this up?
If you talking
about, you can't make this stuff up.
Look.
They're crazy.
This right here? This is Tariq. Look at this. Look how you disrespecting these women. Look at it.
Okay, I'm not Tariq. I'm not talking about Tariq. I'm talking about the word tether.
That it leads up to the word tether. It's a why.
A tether. Did Tariq?
These people are sick. They're crazy.
Well, Tariq got him in it. I think he got Malcolm in it.
Tariq bring up Malcolm X and Farrakhan.
Probably did. More likely him. He got to drag everybody in his mess, bro. So
well, you lying now. So I'm not going to entertain playing dumb and lying. Because if I saw it, you definitely saw it. So yeah, tether is, according to Tariq, just like we take words and make it mean what we want it to mean, the black slang dictionary, because you done forced ninja down our throat. So everybody, ninjas with attitude, it's okay to say, no, ninja is a term of endearment now. Like, so if he's telling you what the word means, it means those that ain't from the descendants of slave coming here undermining those of us that are from the descendants of slaves, undermining us socially, economically, politically. And we clearly see what Luke's contribution to the descendants of slaves, women and girls have been and is to this day. And he's the one that brought up Malcolm X and Farrakhan and compare himself to them and put himself in the same category
you're
as
sick, bro.
them,
You're
as
on
though
my chat
he's not a
writing
tether. He's
foolishness.
not been
These people are
undermining
funny.
their work.
I can't.
He's the main underminer of their work among our people. Because our biggest problem is the mental condition of our women and girls. Wow. 75% of the problem of our people, of the mental death of our people, is with our women and girls. So we have people like that are absolute tethers. That's the definition of it.
Bro, and just so you guys know, the definition of tether constantly changes. On our last video, all of the guys on the call were foundationally Black men. Guess what they called them? Tethers. You guys have to laugh. Go ahead, Armante. Go ahead, Grace.
First, to respond to multi-generation mulatto, you said the C word as the term for Black people that's derogatory. But I'm the one that voted for the Black lady. You voted for the white guy. But I don't feel, how basically you're saying, oh, they sending money to foreign countries. America's going to have to do that. I just want to respond to your comment. But shout out to Dana from the Judge Joe Brown Man Up show. She's the person who gave me the description of what a tether is. So Jordan Peele directed Get Out 2. And so in Get Out 2, there's a family that's evil or demons or whatever they are, and they look exactly like the other family. So they come out and they take the family's lives. So they're taking that movie and calling Black immigrants tetherers, saying that they're acting like Black Americans, but they really aren't. That's what the definition is. Slim, you just got on here. Thanks for showing up. What's your take on this? You're muted. Go ahead, Vogel. Something must have happened to this thing.
It's confusing to me. The whole tether thing it's so stupid. I can't even really comment, to be honest with you.
Going crazy,
Yeah,
bro. And just to answer you, I'm proud to be half Jamaican. I'm proud to be half Moroccan. But guess what? I am an American first. I'm proud to be an American. You're not going to take that from me because you think I should be back somewhere. I pay my taxes. I am a functioning member of society and I contribute to society. So whether you like it or not, sweetheart, go read your constitution. This country was built on the backs of American slaves and immigrants. Whether you like it or not, learn your history. It's that simple.
Mia, go ahead.
Honestly, the term tether, I don't even know. It seems so made up.
Yeah,
it literally just seems like it's just ridiculous. I can't. I mean, it's when does it stop?
And they're saying I'm disrespecting them. Like, I don't think I said anything disrespectful other than calling out the grifts for what it is. And I'm helping you out because I'm telling you not to go send your money to that BS grift organization. I'm helping you out, sweetheart. Like, I'm helping you save your coins.
I don't think we're being disrespectful to y'all. If Jay Daniels, I think you're FBA. We are bringing information to people, and we're going based off of history. History, we all went to different countries. Brazil is actually the country that imported the most slaves. So their population is so mixed. People assume that Brazilian is just a race when really they've made it so many times with the people from Portugal, the people from Africa, that it's almost became a totally different race. So for you to say let's separate people when really we can probably all trace our lineage back to one place, we feel like isn't right. Nora?
Bro, these people are crazy. Like, this is a sickness. And I'm going to pray to God, to Jesus, because we serve Jesus Christ or your God, whatever God that is. We don't serve these terms. We don't serve these organizations. And it sounds almost like a cult if you're going in this hard. That's just my opinion. And that's the last thing I have to say, me personally. What's your closing words, Vulgar?
To me, it just sounds like an excuse. The Tariq and the people who had that group, they're successful. They got bread, they got money. I think they're going against the people who don't really want to go to their state and get an LLC and start a business and create something. They get these type of people who are struggling and looking at gang. Most gang members came because they were looking for something that was missing to fill a void. And I think that's what they're doing. They're taking advantage of these black men who don't want to get up and work hard. So it's just creating a gang.
Mia, before you give your closing thoughts, what do you think of the new party? I mean, you came on lunch with the new party. How was your experience?
Oh, no, this has been fun. I really enjoy the topics. I really enjoy the conversation. It's nice to have just good, meaningful conversation with people, even if the people in the comments are a little weird, to say the least. But no, this has been fun.
You have any closing thoughts?
Honestly, I think all of it is a scam to get money and to divide people. And really, we should be concentrating on restructuring our government agencies and the bigger picture.
Slim, I know you had some technical difficulties. Do you want to just give your closing thoughts? I know you didn't see a lot of the stuff, but we talked about a lot of the same stuff that we talked on lunch with the new party.
Okay, well, yeah, man. I got a phone call right when you called on me. Kind of sucks, but
okay,
it is what it is. To be honest with you, I've never heard that term. Is that a term utilized for brothers or black people or whatever?
Tether?
Yeah.
No, tether's term is to refer to us that are children of immigrants or immigrated here when they feel like they say when we're attacking their culture, even though on the call 85, I told you I support reparations because their whole grift is to get reparations. Let's be frank. So even when you go against them, you're a tether to 85 because you're attacking black culture.
That's the new word. It's always a new word somewhere. I just wanted to hear what
That's
the
like
hell was that about.
Female. It's like cis female. You know the words that they made up
Yeah,
about,
yeah,
like,
they
man and
always
woman now.
creating
It's just
something.
like that.
Hey, I agree with Voger, man. They need to create LLCs, create jobs, man. I believe everybody on this planet, we have something special to give to the world. If we focusing on the things that don't matter, what are we actually doing? You know what I'm saying? So I believe we all have it in us to do something. I don't think we need reparations. Sorry, Nora, you might beat me up. But
Okay, I ain't gonna defend it no more. I don't care. I'm a tether. Remember that. Everything I say is a tether.
yeah, I don't even know that term. I'm gonna have to learn some more information on that term. But I'm sorry I'm late, guys. I was locked in.
No problem. First, I want to thank the FBA and ADOS subscribers. I know we going back and forth with y'all, but y'all did subscribe to the channel. Y'all did come and watch. Y'all could have been doing anything else, and y'all came here and y'all watched what we had on the show. So I really appreciate that. I mean, I appreciate the comments. And we, the new party, we're all different. So we're going to be bringing different stuff that some things y'all actually might be happy about. I want to thank Mia. She's the newest member of the new party. We talk. I hope she can start coming on Wednesday on a regular basis. I think that's what she said. She's available. Vulgar is starting the Manosphere. He's going to be the host on that. Slim is going to be there too. But Vulgar will be the host, and he'll be doing that. He has some stuff coming. Go ahead, Nora.
Oh, no, I just wanted to start by thanking our guests. Mia, can you let everyone know where to find you? And then I'm going to play a clip from your content.
Oh, you can find me on TikTok. My handle name is It's Mia, not Maya. And that is my only social media. So that's where you'll find me.
All right. So let's play this clip and go check her out.
I just want to thank Joe Biden. I just want to thank that old, crusty, nasty mother effer for being the nastiest, crustiest, most pettiest, crab-legged motherfucker to walk the planet. Like, did we forget about Maui? Did we forget about the hurricanes that we've had this year? Have we forgotten about the massive train wrecking that spilled all those biohazard chemicals in East Palestine?
So yeah, everyone go follow Mia. That's her name in the link below. So everyone that's watching, we live stream every Tuesday and Wednesday evening at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. I'll be posting the topics Sunday evenings if you guys would like to see them. Again, thank you for coming, because every time you guys watch, even if you hate us, every time you comment, thank you so much for the engagement, because you're going to make us break probably 10,000 tonight. So we appreciate you. Thanks for the hate. And I really pray, and I genuinely need this, that you go and get help, because it's a sickness that you guys have. No, I'm so serious. And I'm really going to pray for you guys tonight. I'm going to pray to Jesus that you guys find some healing in your hearts. Having hate in your hearts, it's a sickness. It's going to consume you. So I'm going to pray for your growth and your healing.
Oh, she on her Candace Owens.
Yeah.
And the Manosphere Star win December 30th.
Yeah, we can do that. Yep.
All right, December 30th. Let's do it for you too, Slim.
Yeah. That's I mean, long as it's after the football season. I don't want to come on a Monday night.
Of course. And Brooks, I put him on too. Me and Slim, we got a mutual friend. That's how we know each other. My boy Brooks. For sure. But go ahead, Nora, close us out.
David, I really liked you in the chat. Thank you for giving some facts and not giving emotions like most people. If you'd like to come on and be a part of us, we do lunch with the new parties, 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And you guys can come on and follow us. It's at the new party 24, and you can come follow us, and you can come be a guest then, David. So we really appreciate you for watching.
Like we always say on the new party, always vote.
Always vote.
Always vote.
Always vote.
God bless.